What up? What up? What up? What up? Comic Sense crowd, community crew. It is Friday night. Just got paid. Y'all know what time it is. We are back with another episode of CSP, Comic Sensory Perception. We got ComicSam up in the house. Shout out to the people, ComicSam. Can't hear you, buddy.
Oh, I'm muted. What's going on, everybody? Glad to be here.
Ian Michaels up in the house. And Ian just hit you with the hand sign. And so then we're going to talk about the stuff. We're going to get into it. Really cool week. Sam is going to kick it with us about C2, E2. We're going to talk about the dope books that dropped this week. One book in particular that I'm anxious to talk about. That is Survival Street. But before we do that, we keep saying we want some lights up in here. We want to keep the lights on. So like and follow Comic Sense on Facebook. Join our Facebook group. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Find us on Instagram. Find us on Twitter. Follow all of the things. That having been said, let's get into it. I'm Issue X. Yep. ComicSam. C2E2. Hit me.
C2E2 is on fire right now. Yo, if you want to have Don from Buffalo join us?
Yeah, Don can come in.
Yeah.
I just sent him the link.
Send him the link.
is going crazy right now. So store exclusives are still running strong right now. They are. These con store exclusives are blowing up. And I don't have the background on a bunch of them. I just got home from work, but I'm looking at my chats and hopped onto Whatnot for a second, and there's this Ultimate Fallout 4 acetate variant.
I saw it with like Captain with a flag and like Captain America
and everything. It is
Comic Corner store had it.
$275. I saw one go for. So
wow.
They are going nuts.
Wow.
And it's just copies that are coming directly off the con floor.
Well, people are waiting in line for them like crazy.
So what are we talking, like a legit
Whatnot? People are, the influencers are there hopping in the lines. They're waiting quite a bit for them, but yep, they're putting them right to the stream, and they are going for crazy amounts of money.
And what are we talking? A legit fourth print, maybe? What print would that be?
I have no clue. I have no clue yet.
Shout out to Andres Avalos. He says these are limited to 750 copies.
Andres, I'm hearing that, well, I saw in a couple of streams, people were saying that Marvel didn't approve them. I don't know if that's true or not. Like I said, I don't have a ton of details on the book, but that would be very interesting to me. So who the heck knows?
Yeah, I'm not sure Marvel disapproved. How did they get the material?
I don't know.
Because if Marvel doesn't approve them, we're talking about a counterfeit book. Is legitimately what we're talking about if it's not something Marvel approved. So I saw this pop a cover up. Let's look at it.
I can't find it. I can't find it on the Google machine because it's all on Whatnot, and I'm not going to pop a Whatnot stream up on here.
I'll grab it. I mean, you look for it on Google.
I have some spec to drop too.
Yeah, of course. Did you look for it on Google?
I did. I can't find it.
All right, I gotta pick because Comic Corner posted.
Oh, you're on Facebook. Okay.
Yep.
So I mean, because we are on shop exclusives right now, do we still feel that the market is headed in the direction that the shop exclusive is the way to go?
I think that it depends. There's a lot of strategy involved in store exclusives, specifically on these con drops right now, that some of them are hitting big, some of them aren't, right? So it's interesting. Yeah, I think it's not the strongest lineup I've ever seen of con exclusives, but the ones that are going big, they're hitting, and they're hitting with a ton of resale. So, and that's what has been happening. Like, look at SDCC and what we saw with the Grimm exclusive. That was, I mean, it's still on fire. All those Whatnot exclusives. There's a Betty and Veronica Summer Surf Party that's an homage to Silver Surfer 4, where it's Thor fighting Silver Surfer, and it's Betty and Veronica riding a surf wave, and that's going pretty strong right now too.
All right, so this is the book.
That's it. Is it like what I want to know about this book? And I need to find out, one, where is it coming from? Two, is it supporting like veterans? Because I think it's awesome.
So Diageo says the exclusives seem kind of watered down for C2E2 this year. So this book right here is pretty, right? You got Miles Morales holding so that's how we fold the flag.
For a fallen hero.
Right. No, that's also yes,
that's true.
But that's also how the flag is folded when you take it down and you replace the flag. It is folded in that fashion, as well as obviously for fallen soldiers. Cover's really beautiful. It's acetate, as Andres Avalos says. Miles Morales on the cover, Thor, obviously Captain America in that position of reverence, and then you have Iron Man and you have the flag with the red, white, and blue motif and stars in the background. Really cool. Love how Captain America's star is integrated with the rest of the stars on that cover. Really, really cool cover. If Marvel did not approve this, you got USA stamped across the front. Marvel did not approve this. We're talking about a counterfeit book. If they did, really cool exclusive. To answer Ian's question, or at least to touch on what Ian said, I don't think there's long-term value in the exclusive market as a whole. And I'm going to take this down as a whole. I think there are specific exclusives, something like this, that generally will retain its value. But I don't think, me personally, that's my personal opinion. And certain exclusives are something that's killing the children. I'm sorry, you were going to say, Sam?
Think about the price that it's going for. It's going for more than what Ultimate Fallout 4 later prints are going for. That's crazy.
I mean, it could also be because it's just released. People are FOMO buying.
Well, of course, but like FOMO buying is like, it's nuts. It's nuts. the level that it's at and the prices that people are getting.
I mean, but it's interesting the way the market works, right? Because you would think a Ultimate Fallout 4 third print would have much greater value than it does. And then the fourth print drops. And it's going for what? How much?
I saw it go for $275.
Right. So a fourth print drops and it goes for $275. And we already know the numbers on this, right? $250. I'm not going to really release the numbers on Ultimate Fallout 4. Shout out to Jason Robinson, Jose Rivera. Shout out to everyone in the room. Diageo Mallard, Avalos, Andres. Shout out to everybody in the room. Appreciate you all for taking your time to hang out with us. So it's very interesting, right? Because when you look at the way the market values books, I'm going to use Nick's number 3 as an example, right? Because Nick's number 3 has been a key book for a long time, right? But books that came out years later trumped that book by miles, like by miles. I'm not hating on Ultimate Fallout 4, which is an example, right? Edge of Spider-Verse, another example. So it's very interesting how the market tends to look on books and what people are willing to pay for. Of course, an exclusive cover.
Look at Nick.
Shout out to homie Nick. Of course, an exclusive cover is going to have the value, a value based upon what people are willing to pay for it. Will it hold? Is it collectible long term? Will people be looking for that copy of Ultimate Fallout 4? Or will that copy of Ultimate Fallout 4 have a certain level of value just because people know it exists and it becomes a ghost?
So here we go. And this goes back to a discussion we had after we logged off of our last cast. You know, when it comes to your golden age, your silver age, bronze, copper, modern age, what is that grail that what is that grail that you want in your collection? And we all agreed it's Ultimate Fallout 4.
For modern age grails.
For modern
For
age.
modern age grails, yes.
It is the grail.
It is the grail. And how so I don't think anyone's going to turn around and say, well, this acetate cover is, the modern age grail that you want.
I'm not going to trade that acetate cover for an Ultimate Fallout 4 1 in 25.
I don't think any con exclusive would take any of those spots.
Shout out to Jason Robinson for his comment. We're going to pop that up on the screen because it's the comment of the day.
So
it is the comment of the day.
What's hilarious is my wife and I were out shopping. It's her niece's birthday tomorrow, and we stopped at Five Below, and it said, like, there was a sign up and it said bestsellers. And sure enough, the shirt was right on the bestsellers table.
They fooled you. That is great marketing, right? The one shirt that they couldn't sell, they put on bestsellers. And as soon as you left, they put another one up. Like, as soon as you left, they went in the back and put another one up. You're like the only person who was like, I have to have that shirt.
And then to top it off, I sent our little group a text message earlier that said, you guys are all going to be jealous tomorrow when you're not wearing your cool comic book shirts, and I'm wearing my awesome
cool comic book shirt. I have the periodic table of elements with superheroes and supervillains. I'm feeling my shirt. I'm not feeling the Hawkeye shirt.
So actually, I was just going to ask that same question. Has there been a con exclusive where
yes,
it has held? Like, which ones?
Osa.
I'm trying to think.
Osa.
Yeah, but even that's come down hard.
Something is killing the children. The Jay Lee black and white variant.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Like, it stayed up, but yeah.
So then that speaks to, because again, I don't have a problem with exclusives. If it's a book that I collect, like an X-Men book or even something that's killing the children, I want all the covers. I'm not jumping off the porch for exclusives, though. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not. I'm not. I don't think they're flash in the pan. Certainly, they have greater than short-term value. Like it's they have some longevity, but how long? And it remains to be seen. We talked about this months ago, Sam, on ComicSense Presents, where we talked about like what is the shelf life for value on an exclusive cover. And it's such a new market. It's just such a new market. Like where is it going to be in, we can't even say 10 years anymore because a decade goes by so fast. Like, where is it going to be in 15 years? Where's it going to be in 20 years? Is it an investment book or is it a book you sell once it reaches its peak?
And I mean, I kind of look at it this way too. I mean, and shout out to Comics Elite. I absolutely love what they do. However, it's just it's overboard with the amount of exclusive covers. Like, it's nice to have some of them. Some of them are beautiful. But when it comes down to it, are they going to be worth anything, or are they just something you want for the art aspect of it?
Nick, shout out to Nick Matthews. He's been in the warehouse a little too long. He's been in the warehouse a little too long. Shout out to Nick. That's the homie Nick, but so I just got to throw that out there. Like,
I think that's a conversation we get into after we identify some
grills,
some more con exclusives that are holding.
Right? I like the Grail I like the modern era Grail conversation. Like, what's the modern era Grail? No book currently is trumping Ultimate Fallout 4 1 in 25 in the modern era, value wise.
I mean, you can say Nyx is up there. You're shaking your head. Yeah. All right.
Because if we're talking Ultimate Fallout 4 1 in 25,
$30,000 book plus.
Yeah.
Nyx isn't coming close. there are a lot of books that don't have a 1 in 25. Agree, Nick, but Ultimate Fallout 4 does. That's the thing. Like Ultimate Fallout 4 does have that 1 in 25, or like EOS 2 has that 1 in 25, which is like $13,000.
Don't tell me the price.
yeah, Sam. Yeah. You know you messed up, right? You know you messed up. You said, I feel like Minister Society quoting that right now. Batman Adventures 12 on first print and modern era. I mean, it's a good book.
I mean, if we go to straight first print, right? So remove
racial variance.
We were having this conversation
subsequent prints
off camera the other night, right? But remove ratios from it, and I don't think we've landed on what's the grail.
Remove
right?
subsequent prints as well.
Yeah, remove second printings or any subsequents, and remove variants. What are your modern comic grails?
I mean, I love Batman Adventures 12. It needs to be on the list, but that's just it's not a grail. It's certainly reachable. It's certainly an accessible book.
I mean,
it's
Nick,
not it's an important key, but it's not is it a grail?
I mean, you have to think about what does grail really mean,
right,
in the modern era, because just most of them are going to be accessible. You know, people started taking care of books way more in the modern era than they did in past eras. So,
but because of the accessibility of BA12, it doesn't have the value of, say, in a first print A cover Ultimate Fallout 4, which is less accessible. It's available. Certainly it's available, but less accessible.
So, I mean, all three of us, I believe, came to the agreement that when it comes to Copper Age, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that's the book to have.
Copper. I mean,
TMNT is, it's untouchable.
Yeah.
There's one other book that I failed to. We felt, I can't remember what it was, but there's one other book that's up there.
We talked about a couple books from that era, like Albedo 2. We talked about the first appearance of Crow. Like some of those are just crazy in 9/8.
But hold on, this is a good conversation. Let's kick to modern grails though. How about Walking Dead #1? Like at one point in time, that thing went for $13,000. That's what it is. Like you can't have a modern grail list without Walking Dead #1 on that list.
You're right. Will it stand the test of time?
I think so, because I think that property is going to become American pop culture. Personal opinion. I think in 20 years there will be an iteration of Walking Dead on TV, be it a cartoon, be it. I mean, they have 4 or 5 shows now. They're doing a film. Daryl and Carol are getting a show. Like it's not going away.
You're absolutely correct.
What else? What else will we consider modern era grail? I'm not going to take Batman Adventures 12 off the table because of the importance of that character, which is interesting because she sucked. Like Harley Quinn sucked when they dropped that. Real talk, right? And now she's become a very cool, iconic character. But that character, they put her on Suicide Squad. I'm gonna say it again. That is where you put characters who you want to die. You know, she had the bells on each side of her head. It was bad.
It's in the name.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to have something sell that. You have to have a character that sells that. And I mean, I think that's why they put her in that movie.
Do we like Invincible 1 as a grail? I think Invincible 1 can become a grail. I think Invincible 1's a tough book to get to.
That's the big thing about it. It is so
really tough,
difficult to find, especially in 9/8.
So when we talk about grails in the modern era, because we shouldn't, right? That's the thing that makes Nick. I got to say this. That's the thing that makes Ultimate Fallout 4 anomaly, because Ultimate Fallout 4 made us. It started the modern era grail discussion.
Well,
like that's the reason why there is a discussion of modern era grails.
So I'll toss this out there, right? When does Copper end?
Good question.
When did it officially end? 90s, right?
Yeah,
right around there. So when you think about the eras of books, and we have had this discussion a little bit before-ish, but the modern era is the largest span of time in the breakdown of the era of comic books. So your definition of a grail, it does get a little weird because you could be looking at 90s books that are super obscure, and you're looking at then characters that appeared in 2011.
Well, let's look at two big
The
Copper
Grail,
books
and
that dropped at the tail end of the
it's a
Copper
huge
era,
span
right?
of time.
Like if you look at the two biggest Copper books, that
Mhm.
not the biggest, but the two that dropped at the end of the Copper era, New Mutants 98, Amazing Spider-Man 300. Both of these books were considered modern era books in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm. And arguably not grails because they were cheap, very high printed, easily accessible, right? But now look at the price of 9/8 of the 300. That is a Copper Grail.
It's a hard.
It's everywhere.
It is, I think, one of the highest graded books in terms of quantity of census.
Everywhere. There's tons of 9/8 available. The thing that sets the New Mutants 98 apart is there's that 199.
Nick, I don't recognize Copper. Bronze, then modern.
Bronze to 85, then modern. I agree with you, Nick. I'm with you. I'm with you on that, Nick.
I don't think you can take 85 to 2022 though as one era.
Yeah, but on the same token, I can't look at Uncanny X-Men 211 as a Copper era book when it was modern for so long, or Uncanny 212.
That's just because you're old, dude.
Listen, I don't make fun that you can't reach the top shelf in the comic store. So you would like, that's what we do it, bro.
Sam's walking around the comic store looking for someone tall.
He's looking for like one of those library cards that they slide down.
It's just interesting though because we haven't really progressed to breaking down. Okay, what comes after Copper? You know, I think we're in a completely different age from the 90s.
We're gonna say things like Diamond era.
Yeah, I don't like calling it
Platinum era.
That's what I was gonna say. Or Titanium era.
New Age era.
After Copper, right? If you recognize Copper, the 90s was a beast in its own right, and then the crash moves us into a different era of comics because everything changed again. And then in the 2010s,
Nick says ultra modern
in cards, yeah.
Oh man,
when we hit like 2010, that's when the variant age really started to take shape.
Although there were variants prior to that.
Well, no, I'm talking about the incentive age.
Oh, incentive variants.
Yes.
There were incentives prior to that too.
There were, but it became like a thing.
And you got Batman 655.
They didn't blow up until years later.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when all of these groups started popping up. Facebook, Google Plus at that time. And the hunt for these rare incentives started blowing up. And I think that's the era that we're still in.
I want to streamline this on Grails for just a second. Like I want to stay there, but I want to stay focused on a specific point. But before we do that, I want to pop up Jason Robinson. Will the next Grail come from an indie or mainstream company, Marvel or DC? It's very interesting because we have two candidates right now.
Maybe it happened.
We have two, right? We got Something Is Killing the Children, which has potential to be an independent Grail out of Boom Studios. And Black Panther #3, that 1 in 25.
Yep. That's the other one I was thinking about. Ish, you're right. Right. My head on that one.
Right. Like maybe we've, as Sam said, maybe we're already seeing something is killing the children. Certainly has to be thrown. If you would think any book that has dropped since 2019 is a contender, independent wise, Something Is Killing Children has to be thrown in the ring. Not saying it's a Grail. What I'm saying is it certainly has the potential to be a modern era indie Grail. Mm-hmm. It definitely has the potential to be what up, J-Pop, to be a modern era indie Grail.
And you're just talking about first prints, not going into variants.
Not even going into subsequent prints.
Yeah, because if you
just
go into
cover A
different books, then there's some crazy indie Grails out there right now.
And the thing about indie books, right?
Yep.
Which is very interesting when we talk about indie Grails, right? which makes them, which gives them a crazy potential, is when you look at it, right? Like, what's something that's killing the children #1's print run across 3 covers?
Well, that's the thing,
right? We're not talking 1 cover. We're talking that print run is across 3 covers.
Yep.
Or like a Copra, right? Which just had such a low print run. Which Copra, you got to throw that in the ring.
What is the Saga print run?
Saga.
Yeah.
Saga #1 is still, I mean, for what it is, I think it's low.
And I mean, especially on the subsequent prints, like
when you get into that game,
yeah, why?
It's crazy.
So Diageo says, he asked, so you think SIKTC, Something is Killing the Children, made noise and pressure for other books to try to break that barrier as well? So Something is Killing the Children came in with a whisper
of new indie books that gained a lot of spec hype, and I don't know if we saw a true Grail book or like a Grail title or a title that had that much steam after it besides Department of Truth. And look at what those #1s are doing. They've plummeted.
Stray Dogs.
Yeah, Stray Dogs. I mean,
Stray Dogs had steam faster.
It did.
Department of Truth had steam faster. Yeah, because Something is Killing Children came out in 2019, and you could still get that A cover as far as July 2020 for like $15-20.
Yeah.
That summer is when it really started to, I watched it go from $15, $30, $40, $75 for the A cover. We're talking, when's the last time you could get a Something is Killing the Children #1A for $75? People were buying the foil #1s for like $70, $80.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
There was
never
a lot
again.
of money to be made in that. I mean, I think it skyrocketed, and then it's crashing. I think it's down to where it's leveled off.
So here's the thing,
Diageo.
Something is Killing the Children didn't break any barriers, right? It may have set a standard for aftermarket value, but that book had such a low print run. It was ordered at such low levels. It 60,000, 65,000 or 66,000, I think, is a total print run across 3 covers for #1. It's like 66,000, 65,000. That was considered a hit. It was Boom's second hit of 2019 behind Once and Future, which actually had less. Once and Future went back to print 8 times. And then Something is Killing the Children drops in fall, right? September, October, November, somewhere around there, with 66,000 covers in circulation, according to Ross Ritchie, across 3 covers. So at that time, that was Boom's most successful book. 66,000 copies across 3 covers. And then those numbers only dropped. When you got to #2, when you got to #3, it wasn't until #6 when they dropped that 1 per store in the Ghost, the 1 in 25, which was the first 1 in 25, right? It's the first ratio variant. That, you drop a ratio variant, you can tend to increase. You're going to order at least 25, right? And 25 is still a Ghost.
Wasn't it the COVID month book too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that came out during COVID. And it's still a Ghost, right? And even though when you drop 25 copies, you encourage people to order more. And you think generally, well, we're just going to order at least 25. And then it went crazy, right? Like 1 in 25 every issue, up to 1 in 100 by issue 10 or 11. Now we know what time it is on that book.
Mm-hmm.
Will damage other indies with the exclusive craze they started. Drives completionists. Let me pop that up. I hate the amount of exclusives on those 2 books, by the way.
That's the thing. So it does drive completionists out, right?
It also increases the total circulation.
It does. I do think that Something is Killing the Children sparked a different movement in the industry, though. Like, it really appealed in a big way to people outside of the norm when it came to comic book readers. It brought a lot of non-traditional folks in and kind of hooked them and kept
mainstream people.
Yeah. It kept a lot of new collectors looking at other Boom titles. Now,
it made a lot of mainstream investor collectors look at Boom titles.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't know if that trend will stay because I don't know if Boom has had another major long lasting hit since then.
I'm gonna pop that up too, but I want to say that book, Something Is Killing the Children, made those people who jump up in rooms and give you no valid. Listen, you got a bunch of people that like to come into rooms and be like, Black Panther #3 is going to be like every other Marvel book. You'll be able to get it in dollar bins, which there is no Marvel book that ever set a precedence that it had that aftermarket value that you can find in a dollar bin. Doesn't exist. They can't give you an example, but that's the guy who went and decided he was going to go get Something That's Killing the Children when he wasn't paying attention to it. Like those are people we talk about. If you're one of those people, it is what it is out there in YouTube land. Really quick before we continue, I just want to say we want to keep the lights on. So peep the scroll at the bottom of the screen, like and follow Comic Sense on Facebook. Join our Comic Sense Facebook group. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Find a video. Click on it for 10 seconds. Give it a like. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs down. Just don't do nothing. Find us on Instagram. Find us on the Twitter. Shout out to all of the people in the room. We are right back at it. I mean, it is what it is. Yo, that Black Panther 3 conversation had me pissed off. If y'all watch my video, y'all know I was feeling some type of way, bro.
I remember.
Really?
I don't think that ended, but yeah. I mean, I went out and got a 1 in 25 because I believe in the book.
I mean, stop it. If you're arguing, I've challenged people. Like, yo, just tell me why you think it's going to be in a dollar bin. Give me another example of a Marvel book that had aftermarket value based on the first appearance of a character that I can get from a dollar bin. Crickets. Like you got a choir full of crickets. Chirp, 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 chirp. Join that choir.
I mean, we had that ultimate fake out of the Iron Fist #4 that was Key of the Week that just disappeared. But
Right. Diagia Mallard says, stray dogs. I will always say to this day, the aftermarket price will have stayed high if reprints or exclusives weren't so crazy. I am going to say that if you got out on that first run of stray dogs, you got out too soon.
So I did just get another copy on eBay, and I won it through bids for $20.50. I mean, of cover A first print.
Right now is the
time to buy.
Yeah. If you believe in it.
And you should believe in it.
You buy right now. Or
people sold it too soon.
Sitting on it and holding it, good for you.
Yeah, there's like 30,000 A covers.
Yeah.
Listen, when that option comes to fruition, there will not be. Listen, that is the one indie book that has the potential to bring people who do not collect comics into the market looking for that book based upon what happened. We're talking Lady in the Tramp meets, like, really? It is going to be one of the most unique. Non-comic fans are going to watch this animated movie and feel some type of way and in a positive way. And we're talking, so... And I'm going to take the floor here for a second because I'm going to rant a little bit because I can, because of this comic sensory perception. Let me tell you something, man. Y'all know how I feel about A covers. Have the A cover. I worked at a shop where we ordered that book and we didn't even sell out of it, but we sold out of the B cover. And we went to reorder it and the shop owner ordered a stack more B covers. And I'm like, yo, get A's. No, the B cover is the cool cover. Cool is always subjective. Cool is always subjective. The Jenny Frison cover of Something to Killing the Children #1 was cool. That's the one that sold. And which one would you have? If you had to pick one of those two covers, Jenny Frison or cover A right now, what are you picking, Sam?
Of Something That's Killing the Children?
Yeah.
The A.
Ian.
Cover A?
Cover A.
I like the A before the Frison.
Right.
When it first came out, because it was so unique and different.
Thank you. Shout out to Nick. It's just speaking too much with straight dogs. It's scaring me. I'm completing 2 sets. Nick, I got 7 sets, bro. I got 7 sets.
Convinced him.
Those A covers of stray dogs are so underordered because people passed on them. They either got the acetate and stopped, but everybody wanted those horror movie covers, which are cool. They're cool. But that leaves the A covers across the board lower print run. And when that book finally hit, the market told you. But there's a very interesting anomaly with stray dogs, right? We're talking the first blank to go back to print in the history of comics.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what's funny is, as a new collector, I got in late on that book.
You did. I sold your wife. I sold you an A cover for your wife.
Yeah, and then my first printing in #2, I actually got from Sam.
Shout out to Christy, who has a better collection than Ian Michaels.
Was that the first time we ever interacted?
Yeah,
that's hysterical. I forgot about that.
we gonna make a shirt because you're Diageo. That's the thing. Listen, I used to have arguments at certain establishments that I used to help out and contribute to over this cool cover idea, and I had to use examples like, "Yo, but this is the cooler cover," but that is subjective.
That is.
It's subjective.
This is a cool shirt.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
And I used to use, you know what I use as an example? Hell Arisen 3. Better quality book, cover B. Better quality book, better produced book, cost $1 more. Which cover do you want?
I want cover A.
Cover A. The market has spoken.
That was the stupidest thing for DC to do, in my opinion, was drop that cameo or first full, whatever. They could have blown up sales with her on a cover, first appearance, the right way. I don't know.
I didn't like the cameo. I liked the first full though.
Well, yeah.
Because all you see is her chin in the cameo.
I'm a Punchline fan. I know Nick, who's in the chat, loves Punchline. Like, I think there's a long way to go, and 9.8s are like $150 right now, the lowest they've ever been.
Yeah, that's really low.
Really low.
They were like 223 at one point.
There is the new Punchline book is in the new DC previews book.
Yep.
So she does have, I don't know if you could consider it a first solo series, or if they're going to call that one shot or first solo.
It'll be the one shot.
Well, you know what hurt Punchline a little bit is it was in the middle of cons being shut down. I mean, cosplay would have taken Punchline and elevated her to the next level.
And then
the heat of it all.
The worst part is they tossed it in the back of the Joker book, like to continue on the story.
Yeah, but one of the greatest Joker stories in the modern era, though. Like that Tinian Joker run was dope. Really dope.
Are you talking about this full run that I have like right here behind me?
I mean, if you're gonna toss it in the Joker story, you might as well toss it in James Tinian. His run is really dope.
Yeah, I mean, the last book, and this is where I kind of fear for Nice House on the Lake, with Tinian getting out of DC, the tail end of the story just fell off. I see the same thing happening with Nice House on the Lake. The tail end of the story was not as good as it was in the beginning.
Wasn't he saying that he's coming back? Isn't he going to do another DC story, but he's not like under exclusive contract anymore or something? I don't know. He
wasn't exclusive to DC.
I was reading one of his long.
Or does exclusive mean you can't work for Marvel?
And I can't remember.
He definitely wasn't exclusive to DC. Second hardest working writer in comics.
Yeah, Nick said it. Just Sandman. That's what he's doing.
So Love Punchline can see great longevity in her character for sure. The problem is DC keys. You just got to sit on them.
DC is their own worst enemy.
DC keys, there's so many of them, and you just got to buy them.
Yeah, you have to buy them and sit on them.
Put them in a box, and then just wait.
Yeah, they're keys. Like, you don't want to leave them on the table. You certainly don't want to leave Punchline on the table, but like, man, you already know my big pet peeve, right? Damian Wayne.
Well, you say it all the time, though. Like, DC has pumped out more first appearances in the past year than anyone else.
And that's every year. Every
year. And when you can get in them for $3.99, $4.99, why not? Because if it hits, that's awesome. You just have a box full of keys.
Right. And I want to back, and I have a box full of DC keys because you can just find them in dollar bins, and I mean good keys, Young Justices, and like really good keys that you can find for affordable prices. We could just go down DC keys that you can just afford.
how many copies of Wonder Girl #1 second print have I handed you?
How many copies of Dark Knight's Death Metal #7 am I sitting on?
Yeah,
How many
10,
actually
11?
are you sitting on?
Somewhere around 20, 25
Okay.
now.
So with the
I'm catching up.
Wonder
That's all I'm
Girl
saying.
second print, so Wonder Girl #1 second print, I bought a stack of those in a
like
dollar
10,
bin.
like
Yep.
10 in a dollar bin.
They were just all sitting there in a dollar bin. And I mean, we've discussed, probably the best thing DC did was end that story.
Truth,
and
Nick.
that series.
Preach, Nick. Preach, bruh. Golden Age DC keys are the best value in comics, a true rarity.
Don't give away those secrets.
An All-Star number 6 through 8. Stop it, man. So do y'all believe in the DC 10-year preparation? Let's pop that up there. Or do y'all think they are blowing smoke? I'm not familiar with
it. Do it or believe in their ability to do it. Those are two different things.
They can't.
What is it? Break it down.
They can't go in the direction that they're currently going in right now, and then try to reboot everything from the start.
Yeah,
like if you're gonna do it, you just need to burn it completely.
They're doing another Crisis. They're doing another continuity reboot.
Did you not hear all this?
No. I'm telling. I clearly listen to the host when he says, "I don't know what it is." Break it down.
They scrapped a bunch of projects. The Batgirl film that they already filmed,
right? I saw that,
and it's pretty much done. They scrapped. It's never going to see the light of day.
The rumor is the Flash film is.
Well, that's because the actor is just supposedly a piece of crap.
No, the Flash film is still on schedule.
But
that's the outrage.
There are some rumors swirling that there is potential that they might scrap that as well.
Well, that's just because the actor is crazy, But I think that Flashpoint was their linchpin to restarting and rebooting whatever this 10-year plan is supposed to be.
So we're just going to throw.
That's what it did in the comics. That's what it will do here. And
we're just going to throw the whole story arc they did in 2021 out the window.
Well, so they have this 10-year plan that they're modeling after a Kevin Feige style to bring the whole universe together and make it a thing. How do you just start to plan this now when you had so many films just try that and fail? I don't see it being different this time around.
Jason, everyone on this stream has Super Pro. Not a run, but certainly we all have Super Pro.
I just picked up a Super Pro #1 newsstand near Mid Plus for our good friend Don from Buffalo. So,
shout out to Don from Buffalo.
You know what though? I would get a book, a Super Pro book signed by as many NFL stars as I could, and I'll just CBCS that thing. It'll be hysterical.
An NFL Super Pro.
Yes.
So really quick, because I wanted to go back to something we were talking about because I was very interested in that conversation about identifying modern era grails. I was really feeling that. And we did drop some big modern era books, right? We talked about the potential behind Something Is Killing the Children, and certainly Walking Dead,
EOS future 2 ones, right?
Right. I mean, we can do that too. But Nick brought up a good point, straight A cover, non-subsequent print, non-racial variants. What are the candidates, future or otherwise, or already existing?
Then you do put a Nyx 3 in that conversation.
Nyx 3.
I mean, with the
Nyx 3 top 5 modern age grail. Let's hear it. What's your top 5 modern age grail?
So with the way that the Marvel movies are going and the way it sounds like they're going to go, Young Avengers #1.
Good candidate. Absolutely. You have to throw Young Avengers #1 in there because you get so many first appearances of relevant characters. That's a really good candidate. Really, really good candidate. I remember in 2018, you can get that book for $125.
Clone Wars #1.
He's going Star Wars.
I'm going Star Wars.
Nick, I'm gonna give you booting powers. No, I'm kidding. Clone Wars #1 is an excellent choice. You're talking about potential or Grail?
Grail. It is a $2,500 book. Was up to about $3,200 at one point. It's low printed. It's the first appearance of a character who has taken the animation world by storm, has changed Star Wars lore completely, and is one of now the most popular characters, hands down, in Star Wars. And she's getting her own show. So I don't know. I think that Ahsoka is it's everything they wanted Rey to be for Star Wars. And that's why it's just going to keep going up.
I think on that note, you say for potential, we stick with Star Wars and we say Darth Vader #3. Potential.
There has to be more. There has to be more. Aphra is that still kind of sleeper, but not sleeper key. Like, it has not peaked. And it depends on if they're going to use her in a different medium. If they don't, I don't see it ever becoming that Grail,
So 9.8, but that's not true, Nick. Because you're discounting Hulk 181, Giant Size X-Men #1, and 9.8. Those are probably the bronze grails, like the big bronze grails. I believe Marvel Spotlight 5 is right there, but there's
in a 9.8.
And only a 9.8.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Let's talk about other potential modern age grails.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Let me just answer. Let's just answer Nick's question first, really quick.
Okay.
So it's not just the price. MS5 is one, but that's because it's you can't find it. I don't know if it's 1.25 million, but if it is, you just can't find it in 9.8. That's why. But yeah, it's certainly price. That's what it's price, it's availability, it's rarity. That's what it is. If the Marvel Spotlight 5 is $250,000 in 9.8 and it's a book that you can't find, then it is a bigger bronze grail than X-Men, Giant Size X-Men, and Hulk 181. Anyway, that's what it is.
So
I like that conversation. But
yeah. So that one's really gonna hurt Sam right there.
What, Alias? I really like that book, and I used to have 2 9.8s, and I sold them way too early. I don't think that will hit Grail, but
it's just a joke because it's behind me, and I stole it out from under here.
That's fine. That's fine. I was happy for you. Ish, go to the Star Wars comment for a second, because then we could move on to the next Grail book. I agree with this. I don't know if they need to move away from the era, right? I mean, they're proving that with Mando and all of the stories that they're bringing to life right now. But they're trying also, like High Republic. At Celebration, they said that the High Republic is the basis for the next decade worth of content.
I've been saying it's the future of Star Wars on TV.
I mean, it is. And they said it's going to be television, movies, video games. We've seen trailers for the game already. Like, that is the future. So, I mean, High Republic #1, cover A and cover C right now, besides the variants, are the ones that they're still like $100, 9.8. They were
eventually that second print is gonna be right there with it.
I mean,
so all those cover appearances.
I think they're great books to get on still right now. I don't think everything High Republic. I think you want to jump on first appearances,
which is almost every other issue.
There was a break in first appearances in quite a few of them, right? But there are definitely keys out there that go for a couple bucks still. And then this phase 2 has an insane amount of first appearances and new characters coming into the mix.
Yeah.
Looks like so far variants are very slim, so that's nice because it will be, you know, a little bit more focused. I'm sure exclusives will roll out as we see it coming, but there's a lot of potential to get in on early.
It's funny because I was in a Facebook thread talking about this the girl being cast for the series at the tail end of the High Republic era, and this guy comes on and he's like, yeah, you know, I'm just, you know, sometimes you read comments and you can just hear the voice. He's like, yeah, you know, the High Republic comic flopped, so this is gonna flop too. And I'm like, wait, what? It flopped? Like, where are you getting this information from? Like, it spun a ton of spinoffs. It's going into phase 2. This was across 2 companies. Now it's going to be written across 3 companies, and it flopped. Like, Dark Horse picked it up. IDW, Marvel. What are we doing?
Nick, sell them all to me instead. Don't grade them. But the one book, I guess, that you should keep an eye out for in the High
Which High Republic Adventures? 9/8.
Number 1.
Oh, I got 200.
Some of those are mine. Some of those are mine.
I got 200 of them.
But the one book you should keep an eye out for.
It's got stacks of that book, like all over the place.
Yeah, those ones are mine, right?
No, yours are over here in the box. I got 200 number 2s.
The one book you should keep an eye on, and then we'll go to the next Modern Grail pick, is Star Wars Insider number 199. It's the previews cover, not the main like cover that has Vader on it, but it's the first printed High Republic content, and it has an awesome cover with everyone from the High Republic era holding up their lightsabers. And in a 9/8, I've already seen that thing for like $1,000. So keep your eyes open.
So Grill.
1,000 just in this stream, bro.
Probably, right? Like, I got 200. I'm sure Nick's sitting on a ton.
It's called our spec position, Nick. We talked about this.
Yeah. We told people too. We told people, like, get the book, actually, get the book, Corey, get the book.
We are planning on doing a High Republic key show, a breakdown. Ish and I have been talking it for a while. I've been going through and rereading the High Republic, just so I could have all the knowledge to bring to the stream. It'll be a fun one.
Yet I'm gonna
Ian won't be there.
Exclude myself. You guys are talking about Star Wars, and I want to take a nap here.
So on topic, grills.
Yeah. What's
someone asked to give you 5 grills. Go on. We just gonna keep going like we're going.
Yeah, just keep going. What's another one?
I mean, modern era. I love Nick's. I got to give Nick more credit for that BA-12 because it's a really good.
Sam, that's where my head was. That's where my head was at.
EOS.
Yep.
We already went
EOS.
There. We already went to EOS. We already went to Nick's.
I personally think it's one of the top ones.
Okay, I'm not going to argue. It's number 2. That 1 in 25 puts it at number 2 firmly.
Well, no. We're going saying A's. Just cover A's.
Cover A. It's a big book, but the 1 in 25 is what puts it at number 2. Because it's Nick's arguably, depending on the day, beats it at $2,500.
I mean, you're right, and it's arguably a more important first appearance.
Right.
Even though I love Gwen.
Right. But we can't argue. But then there's the ones that are starting to catch up, like Ian mentioned, Young Avengers. But then you got books like some of the ones that are catching up, like a Kamala Khan or like an America Chavez.
And see that's where it's so baffling, because you have a Young Avengers that had so many first appearance of relevant characters.
Yeah, but they're crappy. What are we doing here? They're not crappy? We want to read a Hulkling book?
I mean, have you ever seen the price on that variant of that one that came out as the part of the King of Black series?
I mean, I'm not hating on them. It's the reason why some people work better in teams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not no hate. You understand what I'm saying? Like no hate.
Yeah, but
we don't want to read a Hawkling book. We like Hawkling and Young Avengers.
Yeah. So I think if you get the Blue Marvel in the MCU, we already know the price on that book is insane.
Yeah, because of that print run. It's less than there's 17,000 copies of #1 in circulation. That's dumb low. Less than 70,000 copies of all 5 covers or 4 covers. The entire series combined, there are less than 70,000 copies in circulation.
So we're looking
dumb low print run.
So we're looking at a $450 book right now, raw. So they introduced that character in the MCU. It automatically goes to right. I mean, I think it end up right.
Does it last?
Right, does it last?
Does it last?
It's going to soar because there's no way supply meets demand. That's people's. So I go to certain comic book groups, and there's some major comic book groups where like that's the grail for black superheroes. Like it's the grail, the modern grail, and there's nowhere near enough supply to meet the demand. I'm talking Facebook groups with 9,000 members, and a small percentage of them have it. I got one over here. You guys know I'm not gonna flex, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
New Mutants 98s are about $1,600 right now.
New Mutant 98.
Yeah,
and that book is always trumped by that stupid 199.
Well, yeah, but it also, I mean, it was down to like 900 at a point.
And there's tons of them in print. But they're calling New Mutants 98 copper.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Ian, the other book I would say could have the same effect, and we know that she's going to get introduced into the MCU. Bloodstone #1 right now is a $800 9.8. It was higher, right? She's going to be in that Halloween special most likely, and maybe the key female character in the movement into Marvel's like horror verse.
I don't like it.
What?
I don't like it.
The worst part on top of that is when we went live for the takeover from Decepticon, Mike.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Like that's not. We don't want to do that.
No. I'm just saying. Like I watched that sit.
Yeah,
there.
but that's not something that people in YouTube. I don't want to. You know what I mean?
All right.
But like that book is so low printed. It's similar to the Blue Marvel, right? Does that book skyrocket and does it stay?
So I don't like it.
Why?
So here's why I don't like it, and I'm not discounting anything that you guys are saying about its potential for value because everything makes sense. I don't like it because she's such an obscure character that people in mainstream. My point. Let me get to the point. That mainstream people, when they go to comic shops looking for this character, they won't find it. They're not going to find tons of books with her in. They're not going to find tons of her adventures. They're just not going to find it because there isn't. It's not there. The material isn't there to support. And yes, for us insiders, for us cult hardcore followers, we know what it is. We know you should have it. We know that there will be value, as obviously there is value in there. But we hardcore collectors have inflated it, and we've inflated specifically on a spec market. We don't read Bloodstone because we can't. It ain't like Cullen and Elsa. We not reading it, and I'm not hating because I agree with you, Sam. It's just we can't read it because there isn't enough source material, and certainly I believe Marvel will make the adjustment.
Oh yeah,
and get the material out there. But then once they do, is this a character that's cool to read?
Well, what they're gonna do is if she comes out, right, they're gonna collect that Ezekiel Bloodstone story with Bloodstone 1 through 4, with Monsters Unleashed, with all the minis that she's ever been in, and say like this is
the Bloodstone Bible,
Bloodstone Essentials. You know, like that's how they're gonna get people in, and then there'll probably be another Bloodstone #1, and who knows, it might have the whole damn family because they've been introducing strategically more characters into the Bloodstone line.
Lyra, Cullen. Well, Cullen's been around.
Cullen's been around, but they've been.
Lyra will probably show up in Strange Academy.
Yeah, I think it has potential to
I'm not going to put it in the conversation just yet.
To jump and stay. No, I mean, like, what?
I think Robbie Reyes has more potential.
What could future books be? You know,
Robbie Reyes
is another book.
Robbie Reyes is the best key, in my opinion, left on the table. And when I say left on the table, it's not a cheap 9.8, but it's still.
It's not.
It's you got $400. Get that 9.8A cover. If that 1 in 25, man, it's a ghost.
It's a ghost, and when it shows up, even raw, it goes for astronomical amounts of money. I was in a bidding war on that and lost hard.
The 1 in 25 is a real, true Marvel ghost.
Yep. A 1 in 50, right?
Is it the 1 in 50? Whatever that high ratio variable is.
And it's a trad more 1 in 50.
We could talk about Riri till we're blue in the face, right?
I mean, it's interesting what they're gonna do with Riri. Like, and what are these books gonna do? Are they gonna go up, go down? I feel like people have been sitting on positions for quite a bit.
All right, so what's number 3? If we have Ultimate Fallout 4, Nyx, we're talking Marvel books, right? For modern era right now. Ultimate Fallout 4, Nyx, and then EOS 2.
Besides like your Walking Dead, your Invincible,
Copra,
Saga.
Everybody leaves Copra off the table. No?
I'd say you got to throw something.
You're putting Saga over Copra.
Yeah, Something is Killing the Children should be right in there, Ian.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
so I think the top 5 then would be Something's Killing the Children, The Walking Dead, Edge of Spider-Verse.
Walking Dead is above all of them.
Above everything you just mentioned.
But I'm just saying, just to put the 5 out there.
Oh.
I think those are our 5 books.
Wait, say again? Say again?
We have Ultimate Fallout, Edge of Spider-Verse, we have Nyx, we have Walking Dead, and then we have Something's Killing the Children.
Is Something is Killing the Children that last book, though? I don't know.
Something's Killing the Children doesn't make that number 5.
I don't think it makes the 5 yet.
I mean, I could think of some better books.
But I mean,
Vengeance, Marvel, America Chavez,
either.
America Chavez. I mean, Kamala Khan.
That could be.
Yeah, Kamala Khan is slowly making its way.
Well, it's that if we were talking about variants, I might put that second print, with the hand.
Yep.
Right in that mix. I'm trying to think of A covers that
you'd put over Something is Killing the Children.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's modern era.
There has to be stuff out there, and I'm just like not thinking of it.
I mean, if I had to choose, I'm gonna take a Blue Marvel number 1. I just am. I might even take a Young Avengers number 1. If I had to choose.
Young Avengers number 1 is there yet for me.
Yeah, but just because, like Ian said, there's just such a wealth of first appearances. Yes, the characters are crappy. I'm sorry. And people out there, I'm sorry. We're not reading individual copies of these books. We're just not. The Patriot guy, cool, but I'm not going to buy his book. You know what I mean? Hulkling, Wicked, Speed. I'm not going to buy these books. Unless we get a really cool writer who just does something with it. Not going to buy it.
You're leaving like the biggest character of all of them out.
Okay. Kate Bishop. Her solo is dope, but her last series wasn't. Her last series wasn't.
No, it was terrible.
Yeah, terrible.
I don't know, man. I think Nick might be right.
What did Nick say? Batman Adventures 12?
Yeah, with the
I'd put it over Something is Killing the Children number 1.
That's what I mean.
He's right.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I put it, but there's a couple 90s books that we didn't mention that deserve mention.
Bigger than Batman Adventures 12, though?
No. But big books.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
But
I mean, do we? And I'm not even saying this is a '90s book, but like, do we like Sandman?
Of course.
I mean, like, do we leave that? Do we not? I mean, the show's out today. Like,
I have to go watch this show.
yeah. So when we're done, I'm going to watch it.
Stream. I have to go watch this show.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, Sandman, right? Like, we were just not talking about Sandman. Which you gotta talk about Sandman. I might even put that over Something Is Killing the Children. I am gonna put that over Something Is Killing the Children. I'm not putting it over Something Is Killing the Children, but I still like Marvel Superheroes Winter Special, which is a 90s book. You know, I like First Squirrel Girl. What else dropped in the 90s? Because Spawn. 90s obviously was Spawn, but I'm not putting Spawn in the grill.
Yeah, but what about the book? The Malibu Sun.
The Malibu Sun is a good candidate. It's a great candidate. Like a great candidate. Oh, a book we missed from
because that's up there. That's
from that Bronze Copper era was Cerberus. That was the one that I was thinking about that we didn't talk about.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, but it's a big book. It's Cerberus.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It's high. What's the word? It's been counterfeited a lot.
It has,
which is very interesting, and it's hard to detect. I have a buddy who is like hardcore into like collecting that book, and he knows the ins and outs of it all. It's a crazy topic to go down a rabbit hole on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know nearly enough about it. Oh, I mean, those, not counting those golden error variants, Andres, like that. Those books are crazy.
Oh, the Venom.
Yeah, the Venom. They're out of control.
Right. But and I had identified them too. Like, there's a 90s book that's fast becoming. It's not even a first appearance, but becoming a grail, whether you like it or not. And it's not high value, but it isn't cheap. Is that Blade #1? That first solo. The foil cover, really? Blade #1, bruh, like $200. Because people are priced out of the market once again on Blade's first appearance. 90s grails, but yeah, the grail of the 90s would be Batman Adventures 12, right?
For regular A covers, yeah.
Sandman 90s or late 80s. I feel like it was a 90s book.
Yeah, I feel like it was a 90s book as well.
So
I have the trade. I have the trade. I could probably just grab it right
89.
now and tell you.
Say again?
89.
All right, so
it's right there.
We'll put it. It's right there. It's right on that threshold. Yeah. So that was the Grail conversation. That was really cool. I think we identified what did we actually put in place a number 5. I think Something Is Killing the Children should be at the top of or near the top of the potential Grail list. I don't think it's ready to be on the Grail list.
We said Batman Adventures in the 5 spot.
Batman Adventures 12 has got to go in the slot. Importance, value, it's got to go in the slot, in my opinion. DC book makes it into the slot. We have an indie book, 3 Marvel books, and a DC book in the top 5.
It's hard to, when you look at like the middle range, like sub maybe $500 books. There are so many in the past 20, 30 years. It is out of control when you stop and think about it. Like, it's hard to break down the modern era because the era spans so much. It's an awesome
sub 500 or hitting that $500 range.
I mean, both. Like, there are so many books in,
right,
let's say a 9.8, right, that are there, that are first appearances.
Which ones do you like?
You know which one? If we go to DC, that doesn't get talked about a lot right now anymore because I mean they quote unquote.
I know what you're going to say.
Killed them off, right? But Batman Who Laughs.
I knew you were going to say it.
I mean, it's a great book. And it was.
Is that Teen Titans 12?
Yep. Super high. I think it was around $800 for a bit. It's cooled off, but that character I think can last.
So I think obviously I like the next gen characters out of DC. You know, I love Sojourner, Fire Sector, Green Lantern. You know, I'm a big fan of Wonder Girl / Wonder Woman, the Trinity. Like, I love I love those books. The reason why I love those books is because they saw people recognize what they were faster than normal for DC keys, right? Like Hell Arisen started it, but then Sojourner came right behind. Like you got Punchline, you got maybe you got Sojourner first, but you got Punchline, you got Yara Floor, and people recognized it. Like the market recognized it and adjusted, and which was very interesting. I think what helped with Fire Sector was just it was very severely underordered, like crazy underordered. But yeah, so that was the exclusive cover conversation. I just want to take a break a minute just to tell everyone, shout out to everyone in the room. Shout out to the Comic Sense crowd, community, and crew. Like and follow Comic Sense on Facebook. Join our Comic Sense Facebook group. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Click on a video. Watch it for 10 seconds. Click thumbs up. Click thumbs down. Whatever it is you want to do. Find us on Twitter and on Instagram. That is what it is. What's next? Love it. So underordered. That cover was really severely underordered. Love that cover. Got a stack of them. Love it. You know, I'm a Halcyon Legacy guy. He's on a couple of High Republic covers, right? No, he's on Bounty Hunters covers.
Last page.
She's in it?
She's in it.
Man, I got my... Where's my Halcyon Legacy?
There you go.
That's the most recent issue of Halcyon Legacy?
Most recent issue. It ends. It ends here. V. Marathi.
They brought V. Marathi into the Star Wars universe.
Yep.
Now I bet you wish y'all ordered those. Listen, that Mandalorian #1 cover was the most under-ordered copy of that cover.
Is that the book? Is that the book?
I am not sure where if they will take this character further, right? This was Halcyon Legacy is a story that really promotes a Star Wars hotel, but V. Marathi is a key character in the live action experience.
Was that the A cover you just pulled?
You get to interact with her in real life at Galaxy's Edge in Disney.
Was that the A cover of Halcyon Legacy?
This is the A cover. She appears for the first time with dialogue, and it ends. It ends the story of Halcyon Legacy. So there's my spec for the week right there. I don't know if it will become anything huge, but it's worth it to grab a couple copies of this first full appearance. Disney commercial. I mean, yeah, that's what this series kind of feels like, you know?
I don't know. He just disappears at times. You know, his computer freezes. You can't hear him. He's like, "Oh, you guys froze." And then, like his screen, he's probably digging for something.
Of course.
He's probably got a handful of that of this cover. Which you guys have seen this correctly. I have a Star Wars book.
A singular.
No. I have two.
Go grab my Marvel from this week.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Make sure my Halcyon Legacies.
Ish, I'll show you guys something that I picked up at a comic shop this week. And for me, this is...
Is it a comic book?
It is. This is nostalgia at its finest. But I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of these comic packs.
Yes.
Yeah, of course, bruh.
Collector's packs.
Of course. I got my Astonishing X-Men running that.
But
I got my Fatal Attraction.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I had to grab it. This was one of the ones that I owned as a kid.
You didn't open it, did you?
No, this is sealed.
Good. I want to come to your house and open it.
No, get out of here.
I mean, listen.
So I mean, I picked up something cool too as well, but it doesn't officially belong to me. I picked up this pristine copy of X-Men 2099 newsstand.
Oh, that's awesome.
But again, it doesn't belong to me. A newsstand.
I'll show you a pickup that Ish is going to be jealous of. Well, not jealous of because he probably has it, but
I think he's got like 10 of those.
I know. I think he does too. But that's
if
in the quality range.
Oh yeah, but yours isn't signed and mine is.
I know.
Yeah.
Mine's got Chris Claremont's signature on it right up
The
here on the wall.
newsstand, bro. I thought you'd be excited for me.
It's a newsstand?
Yeah.
Yeah, but newsstands don't matter.
I know. But
Post like 1985 and before 1985, everything was a newsstand.
I know. We should put that image up and break it down.
After 1985,
so people can
feel some type of way if you have a newsstand. But don't come at me with I got a newsstand. Not you. I'm talking to the community and the market and those sellers out there. Don't come at me with a newsstand from 1980. Talk about it's the newsstand version. Man, stop it.
Ish is doing unboxings right now. I'm just gonna go right in with them.
Man, stop it. How many covers did Halcyon have? 2 or 3?
He's searching for books. I'm gonna open some books. I'll show you what I got.
So, can I just tell you, I was excited this week. I hopped on Midtown just for the heck of it, and I actually found incentive variants of Grimm number 2 and number 3 on their website with 25% off.
Nice. Nick,
so I mean,
don't worry. Dude, that's a good find, Ian.
I know. I mean, everyone should hop on there and see if they're still there. I mean,
how about we not? Like, what are we doing here?
That's a good find, Ish.
I get it, but like, is Midtown sponsoring our YouTube channel?
No.
I mean,
right.
I mean, can we get Fiji Water to sponsor our YouTube channel?
There's my mail call. Ian's like Star Wars.
I mean, I got a Star Wars book right next to me. I haven't put back in the box.
I tell you who is sponsoring our YouTube channel, ComicSense is, and we need to keep the lights on. So like and follow ComicSense on Facebook and join our ComicSense Facebook group. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Watch a video for at least 10 seconds. Click thumbs up, click thumbs down. Find us on Instagram. Find us on the Twitter. I'm not going to be a commercial.
Boom. Yes, you will, because the warehouse will sponsor us.
For tons of other comic entities without them paying for a spot.
Unpaid sponsorship. Thanks, Nick.
Right.
What else?
Shout out to Nick, man. Appreciate you. I just know I found these Halcyon Legacies. Every cover.
There you go.
Yo, I really appreciate Ian too for hooking me up with that X-Men 2099 second print because I needed it. So, okay.
Hold on. There's a good question in there.
What's moving to the future, store exclusives or ratios?
Ratios.
I think that now
it's always going to be ratios.
So only some store exclusives are doing incredibly well, and then there's a lot that are sitting.
Ratios. Because everybody can do a store exclusive. So, Diageo, when you ask that question, it's like, who's doing the exclusive, right? We already know what exclusives get looked at the most, right? Mm-hmm. But if, I don't know, like the obscure comic book store in like Lancaster, New York decides to do an exclusive, like is somebody looking at that exclusive? Or why are you looking at me like that, Sam? I'm just saying, like, real talk. Like, what if, you know, if Hullabaloo Comics decides to do an exclusive, that thing better be dope because nobody knows who you are. I mean, and how are you gonna make this? Is someone I've done 2 exclusives. One of them, like, nobody knows exists, and I could market it better. I don't care. But the thing is, it's like, whose comics is, right? Like, we have 2 exclusive covers, and this is just from experience. It's like, okay, well, who's doing the exclusive, and then what exclusive did they choose? Right? Ratio variance, man, you put a first appearance on that 1 in 10 and that 1 in 25, you get a Black Panther 3. You get a Taskmaster 3.
And there you go.
You look at Black Widow 6.
The trouble is not every exclusive or not every ratio hits. So it's another gamble, you know?
Yep.
You have to choose your ratios with a lot of purpose and read the actual title.
You want ratios on key books.
Yeah, but the best ones, you don't know that they're going to be key all the time. I mean, think about Black Panther 3 and Taskmaster 3.
Well, they told us. Yeah, if you read the Diamond synopsis, they told us we were getting first appearances in both books. We knew it. They told us his name, Tosin Adoyu. They showed us they showed us pictures in the preview.
Were they going to matter though? You know,
right? That's the difference.
That's the thing.
But I mean, I think it's safe to say that if you have a first appearance, anyone's going to buy that book because it is a first appearance.
That's not safe to say.
No, shout out to Peter.
No,
I see where you're going though.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like you say with indie number ones, if it's a first appearance, buy it. The worst that you've done is spend $4, toss it in a box, and forget about it.
Yeah,
but we're that's our philosophy, right? That's not the average collector's philosophy.
Like, but on any given week on FOC, there's probably 20 plus ratio variants, all which are going to be anywhere from 1 in 10 to 1 in 50. Usually on the big books, you'll have 1 in 100 plus. And then to find those below ratio is very difficult, right? So the investment that you're making to spend that much money every single week, it's crazy. So you really have to be purposeful with your picks, you know, and that's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do.
I like what Peter said. The problem is there could be hundreds of store variants for a single issue. That is another good point. If you look at something that's killing the children, what was it, number 16 with like 60 something variants.
Peter breaks it down for us right here. Look at that next comment.
Yeah, he buys a lot ratio variants.
Well, yeah.
Look at Stray Dogs Dog Days number 1. There were like 95 ratio variants.
Yeah, no, I bought none. 0.
Peace out on that. 95 ratio. What? So we discussed this in depth with that Stray Dogs Dog Days number 1. Why would you do an exclusive on that book? Like, so now you're competing for subjectivity
because you can make
your
money.
Cover has to be the best.
Okay.
And that's subjective.
It is, but we saw it, and a lot of shops made a lot of money, and a lot of shops,
a majority didn't.
Got stuck sitting on books.
Sitting on books.
I mean, it's easier to break even with Image than it is Marvel because of the buy-in and the quantity, right? So your break even to sell the books is better.
If you're dumping the price.
Well, I think that's what a lot did.
Yeah, if you're not selling it at market value and you're selling it for close to cover, you break even. Because you have to buy a certain amount of books, and then you're required to order follow-up books.
Well, yeah.
So Peter, that's an awesome point. My wife is a big ASM collector. She is trying to track them all down at the present moment, and you know, of course, there's 50 something exclusive covers for number 1.
It's not worth it.
It's not. I mean, and I mean, Amazing Spider-Man is always going to be a good book to buy. Let's face it. You know, you go back to your 90s run of Amazing Spider-Man, even for common issues, you're paying $5 an issue. You know, is that trend going to continue in the future? You know, you never know. But I mean, still, it's, you know, it like you said, it's never worth it.
I'm gonna tell you what Marvel does to Amazing Spider-Man fans. What they do to their loyal Spidey fans is they give them the middle finger like every 20 issues. Exactly. We gonna make you buy this book
single time.
Yo, like the straight middle finger. Like you've been loyal, you've been collecting this book.
925. It's gonna be a milestone issue.
Yo, and
here, buy this $10 book.
The book has
950. That's a milestone issue. Oh, it's not legacy numbering, and it's issue 25.
Milestone issue. 10 covers, okay. Like, $9 a cover.
That's what we get hit with. And Pete, like, I stopped. You know me, like Amazing Spider-Man 1 through current. I stopped with the ratios. I stopped with, well, not all the ratios.
Nah, bro. We gonna talk about it.
500s. I stopped with the store exclusive. I'm out.
Yeah, nah, bro. We gonna talk about it. This is how dirty they did, y'all.
They literally, you're right. If they give you the middle finger as a Spidey collector,
they was like, yo, y'all gonna follow this crappy story for a full year because the last year of ASM sucked. We gonna make you buy it at 2 weeks. It's bi-weekly, so we gonna make you buy it bi-weekly. And for your loyalty,
out in the comments too, and it's a $9.99.
Yo, and then for your loyalty, we gonna hit you with a new number one, issue before.
Exactly.
Yo, the milestone. We're not even gonna get to 100 on this. We're gonna hit you with a new number one and charge you like $9. And then 5 issues later,
3 years of the worst storylines ever.
Yo, 5 issues later.
That's what we're gonna reward your loyalty with. Also, the worst Spidey stories
ever,
forever.
The worst Clone Saga, and then 5 issues later, we gonna hit you with 13 covers at $9.99 again.
We need to do a Spider-Man rant video.
The worst part is, for like a 2-month period, there was a new book every single week.
Oh my god, yeah, it was awful until what's his name?
When they had Spider-Man coming out weekly.
Until Ben Reilly turned into what, Chasm, right?
Chasm, yeah.
I don't know.
I couldn't sell that book, man. Spider-Man, it was so bad. And then, yo, this is how dirty they do you. The worst arc of the year, the worst arc of the year was the Tombstone arc. So what do? They start the book over from number 1 and give you Tombstone again. Like, yo, they just do not care about the Spider-Man. Like, that's the first thing they do. Oh, we're gonna start it over from number 1. We're gonna throw
did you see
more Tombstone at you.
And so what they do is to try and get you back, they bring it back to Edge of Spider-Verse, and they hit you with a million other exclusive covers. I'm excited about the series. Like,
yeah, it's great.
I have all the ratios come in because they get me. They got Pete. They got us all. Hook, line, and freaking sinker.
Yo, and then, I was about to say this, Peter. And then they go get John Romita Jr. from the retirement home. Like, yo, bro, you want to come back?
No,
like,
it's Junior. He's not in the retirement home.
Yeah.
You think Junior is young? Junior was old when I was a kid, bro. Like, what is we doing here? I'm 47. Junior was old when I was a kid. They go get him from the retirement home to do this. Like, this is gonna bring people back. You know, we can really appeal to a new young audience with these John Romita Jr. pencils. Like, what are we doing?
Well,
next they're dropping a new book, but in the vein of Atomic Friday, and they're bringing Mark Bagley, man.
But that's what they're doing. They have Dan Slott writing again, so they're bringing back him and bringing Mark Bagley back.
I need y'all to stop.
Series, which honestly, I'm excited about. End of Spider-Verse.
I'm excited about that book,
but I hope
I'm not excited about Peter David writing comic books for Marvel. I'm not excited about Chris Claremont coming out of the retirement home. I'm not feeling John Romita Jr. coming back to draw books.
To do Extreme X-Men?
No, he did Gambit.
No, Chris Claremont's writing Gambit.
No, I thought he was coming back to do another volume of Extreme X-Men.
I hope not.
I think, dude, I think I'm going to ruin your night. I think I'm going to ruin your night.
John Romita Jr., man. Stop it. Romita Jr.
Ish's face just turned like the shade of white that I've never seen before when you brought that up.
John Romita Jr., though. That's just
dude, it was 2 weeks ago. Chris Claremont relaunches Extreme X-Men alongside Salvador Larroca.
And guess what they're going to do to y'all Spider-Man fans? They're going to go bi-weekly and race to number 25 so that they can give you 25 covers
of a $9 book
for $9.99. And guess who the main villain is going to be?
Tombstone.
The Green Goblin.
But you know what? If you want to partake in ordering those, you'll get them for much cheaper than $9.99 at ComicSense.
25% off cover. Best price on the unfair market.
I mean, it's tough, man. You guys, you Spider fans, I feel for you because on Amazing, like they make, and then like Peter said, all of the exclusive covers. Who is doing exclusive covers of Amazing Spider-Man? They got enough covers of the vanilla series.
Everyone
like, why?
Is.
Why?
Because they sell. If you do a Marvel exclusive, you're looking at roughly 10,000. Well, depending on the cover price of the book, right? You're looking at like 10,000 and some change, right? If you have
a lot more than that.
I mean, these
lately
were
the buy-in has changed, dude. So like around 10.5 or something along those lines, 3,000 books. So your break even isn't terrible if you have someplace, if you have a shop that can move.
So here's the whole thing. This is just the regular prints that Marvel offered. So these are just the regular prints of number 1.
Yeah.
At $9 a book.
I like 2 covers. I do. I like 2 of those covers.
Which the cover that you like, of course, is going to be the Gleason.
No.
You didn't like the Gleason.
Is Amazing Spider-Man number 1?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like any of those covers. None of them are cute.
All right.
Why would I like the Gleason? I definitely don't like the. I definitely am not like screaming Glee. Listen, man, Gleason is gonna. He struck gold on 1 cover.
Yeah.
And that's the cover he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Every time he got to do a dope cover.
If it works, it works. Look at Todd Knox head covers.
They don't work. Those don't work.
They get him paid, don't they?
I mean, just because Marvel's like, we're not gonna let you go.
I'm just saying.
Ain't nobody run into the store saying, I can't wait to get that Todd Knox head cover.
There might be.
Do you got a wall full of Todd Knox head covers graded?
I personally don't, but there might be a fan out there.
Okay, so for the one exception to the rule, we're gonna have this conversation.
They keep putting.
This is what we're doing.
It's getting paid.
I mean, yeah, we get the Todd Knox head cover.
Broke.
Avalos, I 100% agree.
Scotty Young has an awesome illustration style. What's his draw? Baby covers.
They're called chibi, right?
I don't think those are like chibi covers. That's like it's a different style. They're literally baby covers.
Shades variants. I mean, if it works, it's not if it works. It's just if they keep forcing it down people's throats, and you got these cover completionists. That's what it is.
That's part of collecting.
Okay.
It's like that's why Stray Dogs.
Sam, this is not working. You are making a case for covers that you know suck.
I'm making a case that there's a part of the fandom. You can't hate on an aspect of the fandom that loves someone, like a certain theme of cover, a certain type of cover like that. I think that's why Stray Dogs B covers struck so well. I agree with you on the A cover, but the B covers, those horror homage, like it hit and it hit well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at all these other artists who find one thing. So
now we comparing horror homages to Todd Knox head covers. And now that's what we doing, right? That's what we doing.
No, these artists are finding one thing that works, and honestly, you're gonna get paid a hell of a lot more to do a cover and be the cover artist for a certain type than you're gonna get for doing interiors. And it's a heck of a lot less work to do your one themed cover than it is to be an interior every single
I'm going to give Todd Knox props because all he has to do is draw a really bad head and he gets paid. But we're not comparing that to Gleason's one trick that he continues to do. Oh, it's different. Like Gleason had a chance to have a true iconic cover, and it is.
It is.
And preserve the integrity of that cover instead of watering it down by every other book. Oh, you need me to do a 1 in 50? Let me give you a web variant. We need me to do a 1 in 10? Let me give you a web variant. You need me to do a Silver Surfer Black? Let me give you a web variant.
I got a whole chat of Scotty Young lovers right here. All
of course.
Covers.
But I ain't hating on Scotty Young.
No,
Scotty's where it's at, man.
I'm hating on Todd Knox.
And Gleason. That's fine.
I'm not hating on Gleason. I'm just saying Gleason isn't the best artist outside of that trick.
Well, yeah, the whatnot Tyler Kirkham. He is doing the same pose, same cover every single time. Different character. John Tyler Christopher.
I mean, David Mack does the same pose. I mean, the same Oh, like yo, you don't even change it. If you gonna do a cover, you gonna get the same pose. If it's an indie book, he can do an image book. You get in that pose. I could post it in ComicSense.
We're going. Let's go.
He got the Echo cover. He got the Electric. It's all the same pose. Like yo, bro.
But he's so
keep doing his
good.
pose.
He's so good.
The exact same pose. You just gonna take it to Image. You gonna take it to Boom. You gonna take it to like you gonna do it in Marvel. You just gonna do the same pose. And I like David Mack.
Yo, Andres, I need that Scotty Young Haunted Mansion book. That's one. I think that's the only one.
Andres, sit on those haunted mansions, bro. Sit on those haunted mansions.
No, don't talk about Haunted Mansion.
Dude, do not let's have it.
I am missing 2 variants from that series.
Which series? The first volume or second volume? The Marvel one or the pre
SLG one? The Marvel. One. Yes, I need.
Yo, Nick says, "What else did Ish hate? Let's bring it up." Let's bring it up.
Can we talk about Rob Liefeld art?
Now we don't have no reason to just hate on Rob. We're Todd Knott came up because it was relevant because Sam was making a point. I mean, you know, we could talk about Rob. I mean,
I saw a pin.
I hate him. I don't hate him personally.
I saw a pin at a local comic shop that said "blocked by Rob Liefeld." I was gonna get it for one of you.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you, Rob Liefeld on social media is so great.
Yeah, he is
like great. His shows that he does, his Twitter, he's so cool. It's so entertaining. And shout out to him for contributing some of the greatest characters in the history of Marvel Comics.
You're right.
Like shout out to him for that. So I wasn't either a man legit hated him, but what made me understand his art and appreciate his covers was I was able to go to my local comic shop and I can spot out his covers from across the room, and his covers are different than every cover on the shelf. Like Peach, I think Diaja is referring to Scotty Young.
Dude, like Peach too. Peach has found her like trading card covers, and that has become the same thing.
And
Peach is killing it in 2022 though.
I mean, I love Peach Momoko stuff.
Yeah, I'm a fan. But 2022 is
Not
something
everyone
special.
Hits me, but like, I love her art.
Yeah, 2022 is really special for Peach Momoko. Shout out to her. Shout out to Todd Knock. Shout out to Patrick Gleason.
Oh yeah, they're all incredible in their own right. Like I don't know how we just skipped over the John Tyler Christopher, who has maybe the most covers of the same style across multiple different properties. Like that guy cranks them out, and they're just fun.
Yeah, but David Mack literally copies the exact same pose, like the exact same pose. It's like, oh, there's like 10 pictures on Google Image. We're gonna go do this. We're gonna go look at the David Mack pose. I'm gonna share the screen.
But going back to Peach Momoko, we had this conversation on Tuesday. Like the amount of covers that she puts out in a month span.
Carla Cohen.
Well, she can crank out stuff like crazy.
Like Peach is putting out, she's got to do 5 covers a day.
And what people don't understand, Ian, to your point, what people don't understand when they criticize Peach is it's watercolor.
It's watercolor.
It's watercolor. Like we're not talking. She took
David Mack is watercolor.
Yeah, but he ain't cranking out what Peach is cranking out. That's the reason why Peach changed the watercolor game.
And look at the people that are jumping on that bandwagon now.
Well,
I mean,
the
watercolor
the ship is selling on Peach. Oh yeah. I mean, who's the character that did the X-Men 1 in 100? What's the artist name? You know what I'm talking about? From the most
about the Rogue.
Yeah.
Ryan Gonzalez.
Yeah, man. Like
she is fantastic.
What is that? Color pencil? Like what are we doing there?
And she has done. I mean, but that's another style. I mean, it's not the same covers, but a style that stands out. She's done the Batgirls variants. She's done now a couple store exclusives for Gwenverse. Like really cool style.
So and Peter just threw up Rose Besch. I know that people absolutely love her. I kind of feel like a lot of her art is like stuff that my niece draws with crayons. I mean,
wait, what?
Boo. Your niece need to start drawing comic covers in.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't say, I'm gonna tell you what made me. First of all, I was on Rose Best from the jump, but her DC covers last year, those 3 DC covers she did were crazy. Sorry, bruh.
I just haven't been a huge fan of the art.
Okay.
Like, I kind of feel like it's I just kind of feel like it's basic. This is where, like, Carla Cohen, any cover
Basic.
she does.
All right. Who's your favorite artist right now?
Tough.
That's tough. I mean, Graham Nolan's going to be my favorite artist of all time.
I mean, current though. I like that topic too, Ian.
I
already have an answer, but I'll let Ian go.
I don't know. I don't have an answer right now.
What about you, Sam?
My top artist right now.
You already know where I'm going, so.
Daniel Warren Johnson.
Okay. From,
I mean, he's done a lot, but right now, the book that I am absolutely in love with is Do a Powerbomb.
Yo, I don't really care for the art in that book, but that book is fire.
Really?
Yeah.
I love his art because it's so kinetic. It is a very different, very illustrated, like heavy.
This is done by Ian's niece, by the way.
It's done by Ian's niece.
I'm talking about, like, so that Future State Gotham #5.
Which one? Oh, that?
That's Future State Gotham #5.
I love that Ray cover that she did for Star Wars Adventures 1. That was an exclusive. That's an awesome book.
And what was the one book that everyone was jumping? That Silk book.
That Black and Gold was the big one, and then the Silk. Both of those.
No, the big one was Spider-Woman.
Spider-Woman.
That was the big one. But yeah, I'm sorry, those DC covers she did. I mean,
yo, pull up Daniel Warren Johnson's work.
Sure. It's hard for me to overlook right now Simone DeMeo.
Oh yeah, phenomenal.
Sana Takeda.
So he did Extremity, Murder Falcon.
There's your Do a Powerbomb cover.
Beta Ray Bill, and Do a Powerbomb. But if you,
this is dope.
His con sketches, dude, are out of control. Look at that Galactus taking down a fighter jet. Right there. Right under Extremity. That's a con commission. It's out of control. Like all of those black and white ones, those are all commissions that he's done for people. And it's just so different. And when he does cities and ships,
the cities look dope. Batman does it.
They're mind blowing. It's just a very different style.
His angles and his choice, his approach is crazy.
A charred and crispy Anakin turning into Vader for the first time. That is nuts. His perspectives are really cool too.
So yeah, I love what Simone DeMeo is doing.
Well, Simone DeMeo.
But you know who I'm gonna say is my favorite, right? You know I'm gonna say is my favorite, right? Sana Takeda.
Oh, phenomenal. Yeah, DeMeo's doing some awesome stuff.
Yeah, some really, really, really dope stuff.
We got some comments in the chat too about people's favorite current artists.
I'll go ahead and pop them up. Art Adams is my favorite. He's not. I don't like his current work, but he's the GOAT to me of all time. Nick Matthews, Martin Simmons, A-ish, who did the story art for She Bites, because I need to see more of that. We'll check on that. Reminds me of Heavy Painted Peach Book. David Finch is my guy right now. Torrin Clark. I love Art Adams. Got to show love to Art Adams. Nick Matthews likes Martin Simmons.
Yeah,
big fan of Martin Simmons. Let's look at some of these. Let's look at some of the audience's choices. Let's take a look at Martin Simmons. Art Adams, I mean, he's the GOAT. I can't, in all good consciousness, go to his new stuff because it just doesn't compare to the Art Adams of old. Martin Simmons, though, he didn't really make me look twice. I mean, Ward is really doing some good stuff, right?
Yo, I own one Martin Simmons original piece, and the mixed media in real life, it is incredible the amount of creativity, work, and effort he puts into his work.
That's
it
dope.
Is absolutely crazy.
Amal Farouk and Gabby.
I know someone who has that cover for What's the Furthest Place from Here, and I'm pretty sure there's a record actually built into that cover. It's all mixed media.
I don't like that, but I don't really like Venom covers.
That Department of Truth, what you call it, the exclusive Tiny Onion that came out with the pyramid, that was a commission, and that is, I think, one of my favorite pieces by him.
He's dope. He's dope. He's actually better than, you know what I mean, when I really take the time to look at him. David Finch is dope. What's David Finch doing right now? Oh, well, hold on. Wait a minute. Before we do that, you already know where I'm going with this, Sam.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would love to get something.
I want something from Sana Takeda.
It's
monstrous. Monstrous.
Impossible to get anything.
And I'm like falling in love with Marjorie Liu too, by the way. Like Marjorie Liu is pretty fine.
They never appear anywhere.
Look at that.
They never have art for sale.
Dude, look at that, man.
There's no commission opportunities.
Listen, if y'all aren't all monstrous, the best book in print, hands down, you need to be. Love this cover. This was one of the recent covers too. Man, Sana Takeda really kills it. Great art. So anyway,
Finch Moon Knight, that's where he shines. I mean, he shines in a lot of areas like Batman.
Prophet.
Moon Knight.
Yeah, but he's old. He's old. He's, man, it's just hard to argue Finch, man. He's so dope.
He's phenomenal.
Like so dope. But I mean, you know, love his pencils. I mean, but we're gonna see why. And I didn't want to pull up art. I wasn't gonna pull them up because I don't like Art Adams' current stuff at all. And I'm gonna show you why. We'll look at Art Adams' current stuff, man, versus his old stuff, right?
His faces have changed so much.
I mean, his lines have changed. His line work has changed. I think he did it so he can stay relevant, right?
His line work, like, I agree with you. That doesn't bother me as much as the faces do.
Yeah, they're bad. Like this. So this is your they're all like this is your current Art Adams stuff, and I don't want to just hate, but like that's not like you're right when you talk about the faces and you look at Rogue's nose or like the Mary Jane. Like even his line work has changed. It's weird compared to like, you know. So you look at this White Queen cover, right? Versus the New Mutants 37 cover.
Bring it up.
I believe it's New Mutants 37. Believe it's 37.
Are you talking about?
Might be 47. Come on, man. I'm going to do it this way because I just can't remember the number offhand. There it is. 39. Look at that cover. Look at the detail you get on this cover versus what he's doing with White Queen now.
You know, even go down to that Magic that's more modern. Has it changed in that span?
Which Magic?
The go down. The variant, that very expensive variant that I wish I had.
This one?
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Like even
versus this Magic. This cover.
Mm-hmm.
When he just killed this guy. I love Art Adams. And that's why I'm so critical, because I love Art Adams. Love him. But yeah, you're right. When you look at his newer stuff, his faces aren't like, this was the New Mutants cover, #1.
I think those are okay. It's just as time has gone on, I think it's gotten.
I mean, again, that comparison, and I wish I had a side-by-side where I could put this next to what he's currently doing with White Queen, because this was Art Adams that all of the founders of Image emulated and looked up to, like the Godfather. You know what I mean? Like, that's how they saw him. You know, and then you get this. It's not bad, but man, I guess Art Adams' step down is better than a lot of people's step up, right?
Well, yeah. I wonder if it's a different medium, like straight up digital. I don't know what he's doing.
I think he's trying to stay relevant. The problem with Art Adams was, and you know, I'm a big fan, so I've read about this extensively. Art Adams had a problem meeting deadlines, and he would burn out because Art Adams would do these large scale drawings that they would have to shrink down. It would take him days to do a page. And if you look at the Long Shot limited series, right? Perfect example of Art Adams' burnout. If you look at the first couple covers, crazy detail. By the time you get to that She-Hulk cover, it's an all-white background with just She-Hulk and Long Shot on the cover. And if you read one of those old school Art Adams stories, you'll see like the first 75% of the book is just a frenzy of lines and detail, and then by the time you get to the last 25%, it's just empty panels. You know, no detail. You know, a couple pieces in the panel, and because you could watch him burn out in the process of illustrating a book.
That is the next question I was going to ask you guys. You are synced right up. Put that question up. It's great.
Another question. How do y'all feel about digital art and on paper art?
I mean, Mirka and Dolfu.
My favorite cover artist.
Digital artist. Her artwork is it's immaculate.
Her covers are phenomenal. Crazy.
Yeah.
When she's not doing unnatural covers.
I'd have to say that Mirka is probably my favorite.
She's my favorite cover artist. I like Carla Cohen, but Mirka Andolph was my favorite cover artist. How do I feel? I loved the way. So let's look at some, right? I'll show you some that I really loved.
Her on paper, her physical art is exact quality of her digital art. And she's phenomenal.
So when you look at, go on, I'm sorry.
The Elektra Red, White, and Blood cover, #1.
So some of these covers for Lucy Clare, this is digital. This is a great book, by the way. Lucy Clare Redemption.
You're not sharing.
Oh, let me share it. I'm sorry, I'm not sharing it. Some of the Lucy Clare Redemption covers, and it's just a great book. I'm going to go ahead and share it. Let me stop this screen. Image book, Shadowline, in case y'all didn't know, came out about 2 years ago. It's called Lucy Clare Redemption. Just to show you some of the digital cover. This is all digital art. Some of these covers, phenomenal. Like really dope. Really dope stuff going on with the Lucy Clare Redemption. And he wrote the book, but here's some of the interiors. It's all digital. And I don't have a problem with it if it looks like this. You know what I mean? Like if it's dope and it looks gorgeous like that, I don't have a problem with digital interiors. I like on paper on paperwork, but listen, digital art is art too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So yeah, I'm just using an example of digital art that I thought was good. If anybody else wants to cite any examples, that's cool. I'll pop them up.
I mean, I'll tell you, like for me, there's
Love
a
this
huge
cover.
difference of like why I like it and why I dislike it, right? I like it because like it opens up the industry to different people, which I think is cool because digital art is a completely different skill than the physical in a lot of ways, especially depending on your style. Like that's cool. What I hate about it as a comic book art collector, because I've really started buying way more art, which I probably shouldn't in the past couple of years, is that I think you're crazy if you don't have blue lines or sketches or like a rough outline of your work before going into digital, because as an artist you're missing out on a sale. Like you could be doubling up on the money you're making on a cover.
Did you like She Bites?
Yeah.
Digital or lines?
I think that was digital.
Me too.
Oh yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
it worked.
I'm not saying
really
I just
worked.
like the art, but as an art collector, right? I don't think I would ever buy one of those one-of-one artist prints that sell for $500, $600. Like, for instance,
would you buy a digital cell?
Hmm?
Would you buy a digital cell?
For like what? Animation?
Yeah, a digital cell of a comic page, like the cell. Like if they made a cell.
Like color guides?
Yeah,
That's
like they do cells for animation.
No, yeah, but they're doing this. So I'll give you an example. Batman 108, first appearance of Miracle Molly. I think it was Comic Con Art Online or something like that, sold that entire issue, and they've been selling every Batman issue that was digital.
Shout out to Aaron Bartling.
As one-of-one prints. Like, this is the only print of this page that is going to be released. I don't know if I would ever buy one of those versus buying an actual concept piece. Like I'd even take a cover sketch versus a digital print of a cover. That's one-of-one.
So, and speaking of which, because I know my grail piece of art, I don't really collect art, but if I could have a piece of art, I would want, I can show it to you. I would want Art Adams' Spyro, that original Spyro pose that he did when he first introduced Spyro, because that's his creation. I would want Art Adams Spyro. Obviously Longshot is his creation, but I love Spyro. Like I would want an Art Adams Spyro. Like that's what I'd want. And you can give me Longshot, but I want that Spyro from, you know what I mean? Like
modern comic art right now, like they're tracking sales. Dollar wise, it is selling just as much as vintage. I'm sure more pieces are going out, but the volume that modern comic art is selling is astronomical. So I think if you're a digital artist and you're not putting something out there that is physical, then you're missing out on a whole group of collectors and buyers.
I mean, because we're talking about art now, right? Like putting a price on it, there's that Spyro I want.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, the original Art Adams, like his Spyro.
Well, it's like, think about the biggest keys, right, that we just talked about, modern era keys. And if you are a collector and you go search for the original art for that, and then you find out it's digital, it's like, oh my gosh.
No, yeah, you're right.
It sucks.
You're right. So I'm gonna be right back. I'll be right back. I'm gonna turn it over to ComicSam and
Yo,
Ian
it's
Michaels.
almost midnight. We should probably end it.
Yeah.
soon, dude.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. We
I'll
could
be
probably go on
back.
forever. Love these shop
Wait.
talks. You already know.
I gotta wake up early in the morning and drive to Corning. So I mean,
You already know.
you know.
Love having these talks with y'all. So
I
yeah,
gotta
we're
wake
gonna
up
get
and
ready to
maybe
get up
do
out of here.
a whatnot breakfast stream.
We're gonna get ready to get up out of here. Shout out
With
to
Nick.
everyone in the room. Really appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Shout out to everybody: Diageo, Peter Maresca, Nick, Corey, Andres Avalos, everybody, the Comic Sense crowd, community, and crew. Shout out to you all. Like and follow Comic Sense on Facebook. Join our Comic Sense Facebook group. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Click on a video. Like the video. Thumbs down the video. Watch the video for 10 seconds. Find us on the Instagram. Follow us on the Twitter. ComicSam. I want you to say something. Ian, Michael. You know, tell the people what time it is. We can really get up out of here.
Conversation tonight. I thought it was tons of fun. I love all the comments in the chat. Keep them coming. You know, we're here for all of you. If you need anything, hit us up in the DMs. We'll take care of y'all.
Yeah.
Yep. Appreciate you all. Shout out Ian. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. No. The comments keep us going. We appreciate every single one of you. You know, everything that you do for the community. I know Ish and I, we were out in the community. You know, there's other people that do great things outside of what we're doing, and you know, shout out to that. I had a conversation with someone, but you know, keep this media going, you know, and doing those things, you know, bringing in new readers. That's how we keep this hobby, this media going.
Yes. Ian said it. Sam said it. Love Ian's words though, because he's right. Just want to thank you guys. Your comments, Ian said it. Really keep us going. So we really appreciate the comments. We're going to be back here next Friday with episode 4, I believe, of Comic Sensory Perception. I am Issue X, on behalf of ComicSam, Ian Michaels. Y'all know what time it is. We up out of here.